Often in esports, some teams seem like they have plot armor. Like, their storyline and run through a tournament is scripted and things can't really go wrong all the way for them. This game, I think, is one of the best examples of plot armor and scripted games in Siege I think we have ever seen. Because as much as I love Stompin', now if you don't know Stompin' on G2, he's the Jinxie verse console prodigy, switched over, has tons of fans, and in his first ever tournament made it to grand finals. But honest to God, I love the guy, he's really talented. He should have lost this game. Quarterfinals to NIP on the last map, the Lapis Layer. I'm going to rod review every single round, break it down strategically, explain everything to you guys, but you will see at the end, when it gets to overtime, the way this game ends is probably one of the most scripted plot armor endings I have ever seen. 1000% of the time, Stompin' should have lost this game. And we need to watch the full game to get context why, but I'll explain exactly why in this video. So G2 are currently setting up bunks and briefs, and you can see they're holding a lot above top floor because obviously there's top floor, it's soft floor above the site, therefore you can make vert into the site to deny any sort of plant from going down. Because of that, the enemy team also wants to take top floor. So you see NIP, the players on their side, they're also rappelling up to this upper floor in order to take over this vertical control over into the site. The direct angle into side the wall to be gotten right now getting mapped open by the Mav, and this is all pretty typical stuff. The wall gets Mav soft by the Maverick. Remember, you can Mav the top and bottom of the wall to make it soft. That's called the Mav trick. To get it open directly in a site, it's going to be down open. Now NIP are getting ready to start their attack on the top floor. Now one thing you'll notice with NIP is that they have Fantasy, which is the really aggressive player, always going super early, and the rest of the team kind of plays on like a slower pace than Fantasy. He's always in the shits, and the rest of the team are kind of playing in this way. Now, their NIP are doing something called a mezzanine take, so this hallway along this line, you see the death mark of the Nomad right behind this Blackbeard. They're trying to take this entire hallway inside of the map down here from operational down to bathroom. You saw the players outside bathroom, so that they could use this control to push across. Similarly, G2 could also use these angles to fall back on, but as you can see right now, Stompin', because it didn't open up these mask walls, the inner mask wall and the outer mask wall, he can play in this corner and set up a crossfire as if it's a top floor defensive hold. So that's just kind of a mistake right here. I think Hates in this scenario definitely should have Mav'd open this wall because it would have made their lives a lot easier, but instead he's going to opt to basically say, hey, this top floor setup is way too strong, let's flow down into site and just hit site and just pray to God it works out for us. This doesn't really work out too often on this site because of the amount of vert over the site itself. If you give up all your bodies to go to hit the site because, oh, this top floor setup's too hard, let's go flood into site, and the enemy's just like, okay, we'll just look through vert and stop all your plants. You're basically gambling all your fucking coins on the fact that, one, you'll be able to converge and outnumber the site player before the enemy team is holding your entries into site from the vertical holes, and two, that the enemy team is not going to play vert properly enough, and you're going to have one player distract. He's going to distract that top floor and basically make it so that the enemy doesn't play vert perfectly enough to make it work. So NIP do something very smart here. Cons goes for the site while Hates knows that there's going to be blast coming up the basement, or at least hiding in the basement that just fell off earlier. So basically Cons is making noise, running straight to site so that Laura will say, help! Help me! It's site time! Blast will come back and enter Hates' loving arms.
Being so important for this attack.
For a freebie. So here comes Blaz. He's going to basically be a freebie just off that bait, and that's why using your teammates for the bait is so incredibly important. Pino gets a kill, and they do successfully take the site. So they have won the first part of the gamble, which is, can you get the kill on the site? There's still another site player. The bomb is going down. Stompin' has holes on the vert, and he's kind of in a shit spot, this Blackbeard, because now there's a bulletproof on him, but NIP uses the chaos to their advantage to actually win out the gunfights on site. There's the issue, though, is that regardless of the fact that NIP got this bomb down, this post is really bad. Because G2 both has the top floor, right, 2F, and G2 also has a player inside a site, right? So Blackbeard on this position in the side corner is basically fucked. Now I do think the other player Maverick could have definitely played a lot more aggressive to help his boy, but this Blackbeard was dead no matter what because he didn't break that bulletproof when walking into the site, and that's why bulletproofs are so strong in the mid-round. Stompin can just use that ping now info to wallbang him through the floor. He has the top control, and now Laura just needs to wait for his boy to come back to site with him so they can double up. So right now, if Laura goes impatiently, and this is why having patience, waiting for your teammates, double up on the contacts, this will be dead, right? That's why you see a lot of rank stacks fuck up, is they just like go one by one by one by one, and they just all die, and it's just insta dead as like GG. Right? But Laura waits. Laura waits for someone to come down so they can double swing this guy, play context on each other, get more info on this guy, and they can go for a double swing at the same time. Right? So now they just need to cross to the bomb. If they can get to the pillar, they can long arm the case, and they basically effectively win the round because one player covers, one player defuses. Stompin crosses to the pillar, beautiful sprint. Now he can stick the bomb, and now Laura plays to kill him. Stompin tries to get close enough to long arm. He's kind of a little exposed. They're playing it so patiently, so perfectly, and this is pitch perfect micro coordination from G2. The perfect double swing, the perfect double hold. 8 seconds left. Look at the composure on the clock. They can't see this timer. Remember, if you're playing, the spectators see the timer. G2 cannot see the timer. G2 take round 1. Now we're going to the top floor. Now, top floor, basically pretty much default kind of site setup right now. We see them having these quad walls. They make shotgun holes in it so that Deku can better hear sound on the Heartbreak charges and use his bandit tricks to bandit off the walls. So for those who are new to R6, bandit it's an operator that can electrify walls, right? If you can basically juggle his charges on the wall, you could trick the Heartbreak charges off of that wall. Essentially, this is how a default kind of top floor setup looks like on layer. You'll see a lot of this be replicated for a lot of the other sites in layer that require a top floor hold. So obviously you might want to have a little bit of presence on this operational side. You play a player here maybe, and then because of that, if you want to, this mask wall is a default attacker execute, right? They can get through here, they can plant on this little half wall right here after getting the wall open. So you want to have a guy playing top mez to shoot off the ace charges, and as a result you want him supported from the back, so you have another player here. Players in sight obviously are good if you have that control, either control, and then you also want to make sure the enemies can't just get through this U hallway, the Skybridge hallway, break up with this wall, because then they could cross over to this plant and get this little art site execute going down over here. So you also want a player playing inside U-Haul holding this down, and that's a typical layer top floor setup, which we see G2 doing right now. It's kind of the horizontal spread where they have a player on kind of all of these pressure points. Now, typically speaking, teams usually pick one or the other, or their attack, right? You either attack Skybridge side or you attack lower or Mez side. NIP is a special team because NIP is like, I think Brazil, honestly, is one of the only regions or teams that likes to, you'll see later on, I don't know if you'll see it this one on this attack round, but you'll see that they like to do both. They like to do both. Yeah, I don't know if you'll see it in these rounds, but it looks like they kind of like to do both. So here we go. The Blackbeard and the Ace going to set up in this here. Ace on the hallway to make the hallway now unplayable. Ace on that wall. Cuts off the entire hallway. Walks up now. The next step is to get the bandits off of this wall. So they need a player underneath or they need EMPs on this wall. But they also need to make sure that player on the top of rocket stairs cannot play there so that he can't shoot the hard bridges off. And bandit is still playing to trick this wall. So now they need to rotate a player underneath if they really want to go for this. But Pino, keep an eye on Pino. Like I said, the opposite side of the map. Pino is on that opposite side of the map, on the outside of the Pebbles door. Cons hops in outside. So I want us to remember this. A lot of teams, they usually completely go this way, right? You get a guy up the rocket stairs, maybe the Blackbeard, you eliminate this guy, you kind of clear out the bathroom side, you hop in, make sure no one can flank over here, then you come back around, you get a guy underneath, you get to open this wall. Now you open it this wall, you see this little half wall right here, you plant on it, it's one side or the other take. Keep track of how NIP play this. They show a full Mez side take. They open these windows, they open art window, but in reality, the Blackbeard just dropped outside a Skybridge window. And the Blackbeard's going to hop in the opposite side over. And I don't think, because usually when you, in NA or EU, you have a full Skybridge overtake, where you run down like 3 people down the Skybridge, one on Pebbles door and one underneath, and everyone goes that side, and therefore the G2 players can kind of set up a crossfire for it. But now, their bodies are split, their eyes are split. NIP are taking this gamble on the split eyes to kind of pull apart their perfect crossfires and go for something all at once. So Blackbeard hops in Skybridge, They're going for the opposite side lurk hit.
So calculated in the way that they attack at times. Nitrocell in hand.
And now, yeah, G2 goes for this C4. Doki does not hit him. He's still on the wall, though, and Fantasy can't really get this wall open. Even if this wall is unelectrified, he still has one bandit in pocket. You'll see it later. He can just trick the wall, right? And he's kind of in this little crossfire, but here comes Flores and Grim. They've entered the opposite side of the map. Stoppin loses head gunfight because he's getting crunched. But remember, now so is Pino. Pino and Cons are basically locking the players on the other side of the map away from helping out their own teammates. Either that or they're pulling their eyes over. So this kind of split take, it's unoptimal. It relies on 50-50 gunfights, but sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Now this round, it doesn't look like it's working out too well for NIP, unfortunately. But it's definitely something new. Alamau does win his engagement on the U-Haul, though. Really bad sprint play by Alamau right here. I feel like he could have tucked him, but his teammate's going to help the cross for him. But now Blaz is left on a 1v2. And now the split pressure, like there was moments where G2 were able to overpower like the entries, because remember, if you send everyone on one side of the map, you kind of have like a guarantee that you'll get the layers you want, but the enemy has a guarantee of where you're going to come from. And because of that, they can kind of set up perfectly for it. They can set up all their crossfires against that one side of the map, right? If you're all coming Skybridge side, you get the buck underneath, the buck out this guy in here, and then buck out the wall to make sure you can open this wall and come through. And the enemy can set up that crossfire any day of the week. But if you split up your pressure, you don't have the guarantee of getting your wall. They never got this wall. They never cleared the guy fully off rocket. They never cleared these people fully. But they have that gamble of splitting up the enemy eyes. Right, the enemy eyes are now looking every single way, and the engagements are a lot more disjointed, and they can pull apart that enemy perfect crossfire as a result. And that's kind of what you realize with NIP in the series, is that they are the counter to G2 in that fact, is that most G2 plays to pick apart a lot of traditional teams, right? Alamau plays like a freak. He looks like an idiot right there when he does it, but he plays like a freak, and G2 play really aggressive against teams that do kind of all like one-sided pushes, because it disrupts their push. Like the default pushes that you're used to, G2 disrupts those kind of pushes. NIP goes for non-default, really weird, quirky shit, as we explained in the last video. And that's why they've been having the upper hand in G2. They just took bank. They just took bank off G2 after G2 just beat Shaiko's 33-win, 3-year streak on bank. And they beat VP out bank. G2 I thought was the best bank team in the world, absolutely. NIP was the one to take them down on it by having really weird strats and pacing. But G2 run back to top floor. NIP now by kind of bringing a different sort of operator lineup. But I do believe they might. I don't know if they're going to go for the same idea. Let's see if they go for the same idea. No, they're going to. Okay, this is what I mean by like the more one-sided take now this time. Or maybe not. All the players are all the mess side of the map. Maybe they're going for the opposite side again. But no, I think this is kind of like a more so like the traditional full Skybridge take, like I said. Pino on the opposite side. So this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is like the full traditional Skybridge take, right? You got everyone Skybridge side, maybe save for one player who's gonna hold the art window late for execute. But essentially, you know, you double up entry down the U-Haul, right? Then you have this guy Alamau playing in here with a crossfire. His teammates down here holding his other crossfire. So then what do NIP have to do? Well, they need to get the guy in Pebbles in. They need to double up on this guy, and two, they need to have a buck underneath to buck out the player in here so they can back him off that storage position, get that control, and start going. So the smokes are used to deny. The smokes and Goyos you see from G2 are used to purely deny time on the Skybridge for that region. Make them run low on time, right? So this is layer number 1 on this strat.
Two Pino outside on the exterior at the balcony. Alamau definitely being tested now by NIP.
Alamau, good smoke grenade usage. He now has to fall off because the enemy goes to get util, and now the first layer has fallen off. So these are layers in defense, right? And defense, the more you waste attacker time in util, the less time they have to execute, the more you have a better crossfire. Like they have less drones when it comes time for the execute, and then you can play it better, right? So that's the first layer. Alamau plays, falls off. Second layer, have a player here, and now they need to get through this hole and this hole, because eventually the idea for NIP is if a player on this art window down here denying the site doorway, well then you can just walk the shield slowly across till you get to this cabinet, and then you can plant on that cabinet, and that's the ideal plant spot. So now Alamau falls to the next spot, which is this soft floor over here, which hates now. It's his job to buck out him from that position so they can continue their execute. That is kind of the default Skybridge side to execute. Pino gets a long angle on the Loira, Alamel is playing on this corner, and he's needing one thing stopping them, but it's only a matter of time before the Buck bucks him out from underneath, and that's why G2 typically have a response where they like to flank underneath. So G2 love to drop the hatches really aggressively whenever they're playing the Buck, because Buck is the only thing that stops these players from playing in their hard angle positions that would win them the round. And they love to fight through the vert, but unfortunately for them, he's doing a good job. Hades gets the kill onto Alamau, there's no one in that corner, and now Fantasy, NIP, Pino, Cons, they can all flood in through the outside, and once again, we see this player in Art Window denying this doorway, denying this flank around from the player from the other side, and they can just walk through sight and plant for free. And good. That was really good awareness by the Buck there. That the moment his Art Window player died, he immediately looked through the vert and cut off the player from coming back in the sight. So that's how that execute works. So now G2 go to defend the basement. Top 4 has not worked for them twice. Bunk's Briefs has worked for them once. But it's time to defend the basement. And basement is a site where it's a huge site to where you can both kind of strats really work. Now typically what you see nowadays is you see a roam. You see a roam because there's soft floor above the site. There's very potent positions. But unfortunately for them, their aggressive roam is getting caught off by Fantasy on this fast lurk entry. And you'll see this a lot from NIP. Is they play like this super unorthodox style that kind of counters out G2's fast free roam. So the basement meta basically shifts around this attack. So this obviously hatch goes directly into sight. And from this hatch, you can also, the hatch room, you can make a lot of vert over the site and basically clear out one of the site rooms. Then after that, as an attacker, you basically walk down into filtration, you take this control, you breach this filtration connector wall, this holds the cut off into sight, and now if you have a guy in stock, all the better. If not, the guy on the hatch can just hold it or thump util. Here's your plant spot. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This guy holds across. If a guy's in stock, holds across. Filtration take is like what I like to call this take. Now, because of that, a lot of defenses have basically spawned in around this, where they'll have a guy here playing with a smoke shotgun, smoking off this close staircase, and holding here as long as possible. And then also to support this smoke player, you'll have a roam inside of this weapon's hatch room to make sure the enemy cannot take this hatch room. And this is called like kind of like the layer extension room. The other alternative to this is to have a light roam, which is what G2 have right here, where they kind of had free players. You see the Scopos that was almost going to come back to the site, basically, and just roam around for free. So the fact you don't really have any util or hold it down, you have a strong site player presence, but the roamers are free because the map is huge. You can run around and do whatever you want. Unfortunately for them, that doesn't work out because NIP, right, they have this lurky play style that kind of countered them. So, you know, Fantasy gets that first kill, stopping immediately, desperately trying to look back for the picks back, but especially for defense. Now Layer is an attacker side of map. Let's be real. Layer is an attacker side of map, but still, like, if you're a viewer, losing defenses is never a good thing to watch, right? So NIP takes control, they start going for the vert on that. Stompin's doing the right thing right now, which is he needs to go for a flank, get picks on the flank, because, you know, they need to get picks back. Now, the biggest thing is when his position is known, this is kind of like an easy refrag for NIP, but a good thing for Stompin is that he's actually falling off quite well right now, or maybe not, maybe he's trolling, nope, yeah, he's falling off well. They're taking contacts with him, but he's got the picks. He fell off. Cons is holding his fall back on the staircase. He's kind of a bit stuck here, so he's kind of fucked because the vert here holds his run back into sight. Wizard has his flashbang into on the top of the staircase. So if, you know, NIP just played this perfectly, this guy should be dead. So tight situation for Soppin right here.
But he is pinched, he is cornered, he is stuck. Is there a way in which he can get himself out of this situation? The timing might help him.
And it doesn't happen. Now NIP get the 4v2. They flow down into sight. They realistically have everything they need to plant right now, besides the fact that G2 do have the smoke and Goyos to stop the plants. But yeah, 4v2 NIP, and they opt to go for a flood instead because of the fucking fire on this doorway, and then they just all fall apart. All they had to do was just 3, 2, 1, make a rotate. Loira single-handedly saves G2 from fucking dying. Loira was insane this fucking tournament. He always clutches up to fucking save his team. Just insane stuff from Loira. So 4v2 for NIP, thrown away. G2 clutched up. Third ban comes through NIP, or this was happening already, but yeah, whatever. Back to Brunk's Briefs for G2. Thatcher double ace here prevents the guy from getting both the ace charges with his bandit trick, so it's gets it open. NIP get the breach despite the fact that Lawyer was trying to beta trick that wall, but he still has. And it's on the other side. And then once again, G2 are holding top floor because this is kind of what you had to go for, right? NIP now shift their take once again after getting that open for that front wall open to the top floor take to kind of get these defenders off the vert. Fantasy always intries fucking operational side like a maniac. He runs into an Alamine. He's down in the hallway by himself, and this is one thing that really irked me and Bolo when we were watching this. Is like he's just taking all this fucking control by himself. He single-handedly clears that shield down the hallway with the air jab, makes it that no one can play inside there. Blaz still on this wall, and yeah, he's just in the shits by himself. Like Fantasy's just by himself taking engagements right now. No one, not a soul in bathroom helping them. I mean, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. Why is no one fucking helping this guy? Like this guy's just in the shits by himself, and he's just going back around to take more gunfights on the other side of the map. Like this is just insane. I don't like. They're just now getting in the bathroom. Cons is just now walking up the hallway. Fantasy is now going to fight the double room for meeting. Like, this is just... I don't even know what the fuck is happening. So disconnected, but at least they try to take this gunfight together. And here's why G2 reinforced this wall, because of this crossfire and storage site. When people do this mez overtake, right? It's like, look at the crossfire they have set up. Look at brilliant crossfire. Stomping gets 1, Stomping gets 2, just Stomping gets 3. No, he doesn't, but a good refrag, double swing, and G2 completely shut down. They take back control of the defensive half. 3-2 for G2 going into the next round. So now last round of the attack. NIP once again attacking G2 on this top floor. They have the same again split push setup. You see the players on bathroom window, but you also see the players outside of Pebble side, Skybridge side, and this is kind of this like the split take I'm talking about, where they just split the pressure across the map. Remember, see Alamau once again dead because he's the one player holding this side of the map. Despite the fact that there's 2 players over here, now Lawyer doesn't know if he has to focus on this side or the other side. Blast can focus this side, Doki focuses this side, Saba focuses this side, but they're split. They're split 2v2 and 3v3. Right, the bodies are split apart, so there's no more perfect crossfires. And NIP get that pick on Skybridge of the map. No like breach on this wall. So unfortunately again for NIP, they're unable to get through this wall to plant on this safe cover spot right here. But regardless, the Shanka would have stopped it. Now NIP are going for this commit on the fire. He's getting hit by a Malusi though, and he's dying to a flame. But Khan's on that backside. Remember, that's why that split pressure is so important, because these mez side players are pulling eyes of G2. Stompin has to worry about this side. Doki's worried about this side. And while that's happening, you can't just leave backside completely open. So Alamau and Lawyer hold it down one by one, but they both go down because there's constantly a player playing backside. Blast retakes Rocket, which is huge, and once again, what the fuck is happening? Like, how does Fantasy do this entry and the rest of NIP doesn't commit off it? You know, you just gotta go off your boy right here. And that's why, like, a lot of times people complain about their entries going in 30 seconds and dying and ranked, and then they're like, oh, and then you're last alive, but you gotta go help your boy. Like, you're not gonna have as much chance of winning that 1v5, let's be honest, as much as going in 5v5 with your teammate. Help your boy get the refrag. So 3v3 now, no more counter pressure, and this is where NIP lose their edge, because they lost the bodies to a point where they didn't follow up on Fantasy right there, and they no longer have this counter pressure. Now G2 don't need to worry about washing that backside. They could all set up the crossfire for this front side, and now you see why they've always beaten and dominated the teams that play fully frontal, fully one-sided direct takes. There's all the chonka fires over on this side of the map, so they cannot go for plant, and for that reason, they have to go for this sort of weird entry. Blaz, so incredibly huge. He gets so much fucking hate. He gets so much hate, but when it matters most, right now, he clutches it up. Ace, 4K clutch by Blaz. Insane fucking clutch, bro. You can kind of see the plot armor thickening right here, because it has 2 rounds in a row where NIP in some shape or form had a +2 man advantage. They had a 4v2 on the basement, then a 5v3 on the top floor, then G2 double fucking clutch to bring those back. But it gets worse. I'm telling you right now, it only gets worse. I need you guys to keep track of the defensive sites NIP is playing and where they're finding success. Because if you keep track of that, the ending of this video will fucking infuriate you, okay? So going into this half, NIP banned the double shields, G2 banned the double wall denial. Walls are free now, but they cannot use the shields besides the Blackbeard to get into the building. Back to this top floor bomb site that we love so much. And you guys have to watch this, okay? First time NIP runs this top floor. They run the default extension I'm talking about. They have this player playing an operational. They're going to layer back into site. G2 are going to go for a mez take, right? They have the players outside bathroom, outside art. They're going to get this pressure open. They're going to entry off of the player walking up the rocket stairs. Doki is going to be firing off that rocket stairs to crunch at the same time. Because remember, the rocket stairs player is going to be the threat to down the mezzanine hallway. So we're going to get stomping into mezzanine, or stomping into operational. You're going to open up this wall. You're going to look down the hallway. You're going to get Doki getting that rocket stairs open. Right here, big tragedy happens. Stomping, Miss Drones Cons on the Clash. Super ambitious rat play, by the way. On the Clash is fucking crazy. On the Clash is fucking crazy. But because of the miss drone by Stompin', Alamo immediately goes down. Doesn't really matter though. It's just a Flores. I'm gonna be real. That's not a huge operator loss like Capital or Thermite would have been. Collins talk shit about the drone. But here we go. Doki is now going to start to go for that fucking fire execute up here. Now, I want you guys to remember this kill. Fantasy dies to Laura on the bathroom window. I want you guys to remember this fucking kill, okay? Because this is a kill you will see, not just this one time. Because realistically, where's the threat is Laura hopping in the bathroom window. Until he has hopped in the bathroom window, there's no threat yet. Now you have eliminated the player supporting Pino on the staircase, and Pino's burning his smokes. The moment he burns his smokes anymore, and there's no player here in the hallway to support him, Doki shoots the fire over top, burns this guy out, burns the staircase, and Pino has to swing up, down into Doki, or up into Laura. Because there's an angle here, because the wall is fully soft.
Still alive as Cons will control Mez.
So G2 just wait for this. Stompin's getting ready to go off at the 2 because they know that if G2, if Laura and Doki take this control, then that means they can now flow down and kill this Clash. And because Clash can no longer play here because he's going to get sandwiched by both sides, then Stompin can go and take this control because of it. G2 set up for a perfect mess side execute. He gets outer mask wall open. It distracts the Clash and actually pulls him away from the pressure. Clash goes outside and turns out now it's free. It's free for Stompin. And now here comes Doki. Doki takes out his util. Doki starts to go for the fucking flood. Stompin has med control and he gets a fucking freebie just for no fucking reason. And now the util from fucking Doki pushes up the smoke player up the staircase and he dies. Like I just said, Pino dies to Doki because of it, because Doki walks up the staircase, Blast hops in art window, G2 take all of Mez side control, they take it to bathroom, they take it to bathroom, they take it to art, they take it to Mez, they take it over here, Stompin just needs to get this wall open, plant right here, and that's really it. There's no more smokes or maybe a C4, and it's all up to Wizard on this chest desk as the fucking last ditch effort to clutch out this round.
For G2 here to find an attacking round to kickstart the second half.
Cons, as you said, is so low here as well. So with 30 seconds to go,
burns the C4 way too early. Now, I have an issue with this Clash play because this is kind of getting into the nuance of game theory and all that now. But now I do feel like Clash should have played more flexible here, like between the sites. As an active shield, because one, if the enemy goes for a mask plant, then you can bring your Clash over to stop this plant, which I actually think that's what G2 expected, which is why they had so many bodies actually still around this hallway area, because they were like, okay, Stompin's gonna see the Clash, that's gonna give us a green light to flood the other side of the map, kill the backside player, and then eventually plant back here. Now what Clash basically putting down her shield down here is telling them Clash wants to fight backside, front side is free. And that's exactly what G2 do on this execute. Clash basically putting down her shield, essentially just like, oh, tells G2, yeah, go ahead and go for that front side execute. The only person you need to worry about is going to be Wizard. The breach is not made for G2, unfortunately, but which is why G2 are struggling really hard with clearing this desk player. And it was a really good C4, but unfortunately for them, time runs out. They play the power spots perfectly. It still works out for him. They're not able to clear out Wizard or the Warden, or whoever the fuck was on that desk position. NIP take the first floor top round kill. Okay? Well, I just want you to remember that that round was won on the back of a clutch. That round was G2 had the advantage and they won out their strat, and luckily for them, they had an Azami and a desk and a shitty breach by Stompin because he made the breach on the right side. He could have tucked up on this wall, planted the bomb, and now the desk player had to swing out wide to kill him. And you know, so shitty breach by Stompin right here, unfortunately, ends up leading to this clutch happening. But you gotta remember that NIP win their top 4 round off the back of kind of like just like a situational clutch. Now we go to basement. Now we're talking about this filtration stairs hold I talked about earlier. They're reinforcing the walls inside of weapons. They're making, you know, an extension over by Green Hall side, and just kind of this like first floor spread to support that filtration stairs player and hold vert over the site. G2 now drone all of that out, right? I'm presuming they used a lot of their drones in the prep phase, and that's always been G2's identity, is just use a shit ton of drones in the prep phase. As you can see, they already have 3 down, 2 down, 3 ran into site, and they know kind of the setup that NIP have. So like, okay, they're roaming too many people on that first floor, too hard of a roam setup, so we're just gonna take it to garage for free, because the garage is fucking free. We can just take it to garage, we can work out horizontally, and we can go for the pillar plant, which basically just requires the vert that isn't needed for that backside take, right? So they want to basically work their way through here, open up this wall, plant on that pillar. That means the player inside of this room, which is called Toxin, this guy needs to get cleared out, and then also the vert above the site needs to be distracted while we're going for this plant. This is a typical G2 round where basically they send Stompin and they send Blaz up top to clear the guy out while they're going for the plant, and that's essentially how it works. The G2 take this control, they start moving out, they open up this pillar, or the locker's pillar wall, the big drone onto the Asami right here. Players are moving in, they're getting ready, and here we go, we have NIP. You see the NIP players, and now moving to vert. This is what I like to call kind of like a punish game move by G2, is they like to draw out this response at NIP that creates a more predictable spot for the roamer up top, where Blast and now Stomp, and you see them in the top 4 now running in to hunt that guy to get him off the vert, but at the same time that they're going for execute, because the execute draws the guy to the vert and makes one of the roamers in a more predictable position. And now G2 are getting ready to go for this execute. Now the big thing here though is that top 4 gunfight is so incredibly important for the fate of the round, and unfortunately for G2, Hates is going to win it, right? So Hates is going to get a kill on Stop and constant kill on Blast, and that's all the vert dead. Even if the rest of G2 managed to flood the Resiah and win out all their gunfights perfectly, NIP would have won from vert anyways, but regardless, they win a flawless run on the man count. NIP even at the 4-4, and it's looking really, really scary for G2. That was a flawless round. I want you guys to keep track of the fact that that first top 4 round that NIP won was a fucking clutch off a bad thermite breach, right? This run was a flawless fucking round. Okay, let's go to the next site. Bunks Briefs. Bunks Briefs. Okay, same thing as G2. They want to hold up this top 4 control. They want to make sure they hold down this green area because it lets you flow down to the site, hold the green lobby. So that's kind of like, it's a stronger setup. G2 setup, you see, spread more so onto the mask side, spread across all of that top 4. NIP setup here is going to be heavily biased towards this green hallway side. The reason for this is because this vert is so strong because it makes it directly above site in some of the most contested plant spots. You can reinforce it, and you know enemies like to go for Mez overtakes, and you know enemies like to take Mez side over onto this side. Well, instead of holding on for dear life onto all of top 4, fuck it, just like fall back onto this layer. Have your player fall back onto green stairs layer. And if you're playing green stairs, then you have a bridge spot directly into site. And now you kind of have this kind of site setup where you're bridging to green stairs. You're bunkered up over here. You're all comfortable. And then you have like this support up to, you know, connecting to the top 4 player. And now like the enemy doesn't have to worry. You don't have to worry about holding down all of Mez side and all that. And you can fight green stairs really, really hard. Right, so that's basically what NIP strat is going to completely be on this round. As you can see right now, when they go onto this window, shooting into green lobby, you'll see an immediate double barricade Azami hold. Now, the first one got broken, but you see 2 Azamis on this staircase, right? And the player playing it near green lobby, they really want to hold on the green stairs, but G2 know this, and you see even a shield holding down this hallway. This is all the strats that go down a layer. You guys really make sure to memorize this if you want to like know how the strats work out. G2 have a clear onto this, however, is because G2 have a clear onto the guy basically where they have the Laura rappel on the rappel he's watching right now, where basically if there's a guy on the staircase, you hold this run down, and then the players go down the hall hallway, and you have a guy get on this rappel to make sure that the players cannot swing to help his boy on the staircase to isolate this player. Because remember, this window's right here. Imagine there's a guy on this window rappel. Now the U-Haul guy is stuck, unable to do anything, and now they just dump you two on the staircase. The guy on the staircase is being cut off by this window, and that's how a meta position that makes your life hard gets cleared up by attackers that can cut off all your runaways, your angles, guy in each doorway, guy in the window, holds this fucking swing for your teammates, and now the people just walk up, down this hallway, throw you to you, and you're fucked on that staircase. So that's what G2's clear entails right now. And you see Fantasy with the Jaeger ADS is playing this position right now, so he's kind of very much in the shits. Alamau gets on this window rappel. I could have just demonstrated off this. He cuts off the smoke from helping his teammate. Laura cuts off Fantasy's runaway. They have an opening kill pick onto green stairs, just like that's a double up down the green stairs that they go for this. And they have the Fuse walking up on him, but Fantasy is playing this super fucking smart. Look at his ADS on green stairs, because he's left. He's left already. He tucked up before they even have the chance to fucking go for the kill on him. He completely gave a whip to the position, and he's playing this like a genius. Honest to God, he's playing like a genius. Right? He's holding it down, but he's making it difficult. He's not making it an easy kill. Lure misses the chance to get an easy kill pick on him right there, but you see, even H is anticipating this clear, because usually you don't have a player in the medbay hallway, but now you do, and now he's fighting this 1v1, and now if he wins this 1v1, he can come back into green 90 and support him on this hallway. Right? So it's just kind of brilliant. The Yings come through. Fantasy somehow is still in here, making it work. G2 are having a bit of a trouble solving this, and he gets back into sight. Beautiful micro play by NIP to basically not lose free bodies on the position. Now Hates unfortunately goes down. G2 have this green stairs control, the medbay hall control, but NIP have the bodies. A little bit of an early preemptive flank by NIP there, gets caught off by Blaz. NIP still do have top 4 control though. 3v4 for NIP, but they kind of have the advantage here. And now, I'm sure you guys have noticed a typical trend on this site is like, typically at this point in the round is when the top 4, crossfires are much less likely to be worth going for than anything else. So what's the easiest thing we could do right here? We just killed a green extension. Right, the green extension is dead. We just took this control. This wall is not reinforced. The easiest thing we could do is kill the site player. Once we kill the site player, then we can start using the scents and the smoke grenades to essentially go for a cheeky plant. Despite the fact that there's vert all over site, there are occasionally spots that you can go to plant. Like you can sense off the wall right here, get underneath this cabinet position, tuck up in here and plant. You can also plant randomly in the sense wall, and there's just little random areas you could use disruption to create the plant spots to get that, right? So that's what G2 are going to go for. Now, Khans somehow fucking magically wins. That was a huge fucking gunfight right there, because Khans just had it for free. This round was almost over. He trades out one, and now this is a big thing. They go for the sense wall on the spot, but guess what NIP do? They preemptively smoke it off, and then Wizard, because G2 flowed down from their green hall control, Wizard retakes up top green stairs. And now look at this. He smoked it off preemptively. Off that sense wall, Pino preemptively threw the smoke into the sense wall, and now G2 no longer have their plant spot, and now it's brilliant. The micro plays from NIP to win this round. From Fantasy playing in that green lobby position, not giving away the free pick on the green stairs. From Khans winning that god gunfight, 1-for-1 on site. And then from Pino smoking up the hallway, while Wizard retakes through this hallway because G2 let it go. Brilliant set of micro plays to bring it back. And NIP take 5-4 up on G2. Right now, they look like, at the last 2 rounds, like they have outclassed G2. Third ban coming out now. G2 banned the Clash, NIP banned the Ace. NIP need 2 more to close up this game that they have, honest to God, in the last map, and up until now, look like they have been controlling the entire game. They cannot go back to either of the sites they just won because of a 2-round site rotation. That's Pro League rules. When you win your last site, you can't go to it for another 2 rounds. So they have to go back up to top 4. This is like we just watched them basically essentially struggle to win the round on. Now you could possibly say that the Briefs bunk round was also the same, but you gotta remember, this round, top 4, was won off a miracle last time. Bunk's Briefs was won off NIP's very own super smart play. That was in their control, that was by their decision, whereas this round, The last round they played top floor was won off a mistake of G2's part, which is out of NIP's control. So Mira on this wall makes it with the ace band. Their essentially plan is, okay, we pop this open and then we throw impacts through this mirror to break any hard breach that would have resulted on the wall.
Has been a little bit topsy-turvy for them. They've had good moments.
There's an EMP coming through. Double Hibana's coming through.
So they're going to try
Cons should go for the impact now, and it basically stops this from becoming a walkable breach, which is very good for NIP.
in towards mass. Now I'm looking at the breach. It doesn't really look
G2 set up for almost the identical take. You see Doki with the Capital going outside rocket, lower rocket door. He's going to try to fire out this player top rocket side. Kind of the same thing here. NIP have the players ready for the rocket side push through. And Doki's going to be able to clear it out with this, utility. It's going to be a smoke versus Capital. Once again, Loira blasts outside the windows, going for this exact same kind of take. We wait for those smokes to go away, and now G2 are ready to go. You see them getting ready. Capital fires over to the right side of the smoke right here. He's going to fire again onto the staircase. The flashbangs come through, and now Pino once again loses his life to fucking rocket stairs. And then once again, Fantasy top playing rocket, playing top rocket, gets the kill on rocket stairs.
Into the head of Doki. Not the time for the crossbow. Evens things up now for NIP.
Which is, by the way, this is huge. Fantasy winning this rocket gunfight is fucking massive. Because once you take this rocket control, now G2 is wary about walking down this hallway, especially if they have crossfires from the door. And now they can't hop in bathroom for free because now you still have rocket control. You have split G2's push in half. So what does Fantasy do? He walks in front of bathroom door again and dies to Loira on bathroom door, swatching nothing again. And G2 take Mez control again. So they take this control, same fucking dance.
There's not a lot of information now for G2. We're talking about doorway swings, having to find these people. I think that might have been a misdrawn as well onto Hades.
They get a really good triple up on this player right here. Super well coordinated by G2 to kill this Wizard player on the backside. Flood through backside, and now it's the last player. Once again, the Mez take is just successful over and over and over again. 20 seconds left, but for G2, they do a really good job of basically getting all the position spots to flood at every single angle, and they just go from every single angle onto this player backside. They go for the kill on him, 3-2-1. Really good coordination by G2 right there. Okay. Now, okay, we just won top floor. We just won basement flawlessly. We just played a brilliant bunks and briefs. We won top floor off a shitty G2 breach, off a miracle, and then we got thrashed by G2 on the same push again, with Fantasy, our star fragger, making the same mistake on our player on the staircase in the smoke, dying to the same Capital. Where will NIP go this round? Pop quiz. What is the right site for NIP to go to if they want to win this next round? They have two options that they won before versus a top floor that has looked fucking shaky for them. Where should they go this next round?
Semi-final point, and at the very least, a comfortable OT at minimum. The 11th round.
NIP pick top floor again. NIP pick top floor again. Pino on smoke. Again. Fantasy this time, you know what the problem is? Oh, the problem is we don't have ADSs for the guy on the staircase. Great. Amazing. G2 get mask wall open. Again. Laura's getting ready outside bathroom. Again. What the fuck? Laura's holding this fucking angle, right? Laura's holding this fucking angle, right? You can't make this up anymore. You can't make this up anymore. Look who the fuck is around this bathroom side. And then, because here was NIP's thought process, okay? They were like, what's killing us on these rounds is Pino's getting Capital fired and he's dying. So, what the fuck do? We bring 3 ADSs. Well, motherfucker, G2 is scrimmed against that, so they burn the ADSs perfectly. They look how clockwork this is. They burn the ADSs perfectly with Laura. They EMP the fucking ADSs out. The Capital fires come out once again. They run through once again on these players. Same fucking mess take again.
Another kill in a 4 versus 3
can't get away.
Stopping with another 4v2.
They pick the pace up suddenly out of nowhere, and it catches NIP off guard. Wizard to the shotgun, can't even find the down, but eventually the kill on the reswing from.
They died to a mess take again on the top floor. Same 1v3. Same guy stuck on chest desk to clutch up the round.
the conclusion.
And it's like why? It's like they're running back the same scenario. Okay, but that's not even the worst part. You know what? They ran it back. They're fucking idiots for it. That's not even the worst part. Okay, we go to series point. NIP realized, hey, top floor didn't work for us the last 2 rounds, so let's hold Bunk's briefing. Alright, they're going to do this once again, this hard U-Haul hold with a shield, with a fur, with everything. Let's go back to Bunk's briefing. G2 are on match point. NIP need to get this run to bring it to overtime. Okay, so Mira on that main wall to like basically shoot it open in case there's any hard breaches going down. G2 are looking to flood out this top floor. It looks like they're going to go for all around top floor hard flood. They're getting through fast control onto Mez side. Fantasy, NIP playing super spread top 4 clear, super spread top 4 roam once again, and it looks like they want to go for kind of a fast, super fast crunch from all sides. G2, they're gonna have Alama hopping with the Ying shotgun on the opposite side of the map. Stompin's taking Mez side control, and they're basically gonna flood it. Kind of like a similar idea. NIP actually like flood all at the same time. Go for this top 4 hard clear on the NIP. NIP have that player down inside a green hallway. He's realizing no one's clearing him out. Looks like the top push is going to be where most of the pressure comes through, so Cons is going to try to, I believe, try to get back up onto this top floor. So G2 clearing out that hard wall right there on the storage CCTV side, or not storage, sorry, the CCTV side. Make sure they can't hold the crossfire in there. Good clear by G2, honestly. But NIP, they fall off. They start falling off. They start layering off this roam because of it. So now G2 have transitioned into this kind of Mez takeover instead of crunching all top floor. So now Fantasy realizes that he falls down through the hash to go back to support site, and now Cons is on the staircase. Now it's kind of this thing I told you guys about where it's like, okay, they want to take Mez out of it, you can have it. We're going to play the layer to where we're holding down storage and green hall side, and now G2 don't have that kill on that side of the map set up anymore. They do have Alama by himself with a shotgun, which is a huge factor right here. He does get a really good kill onto the storage player, and this is a huge entry wins by G2, but Cons brilliantly flanks green. So we're kind of seeing the exact same pattern where NIP make really good plays on bunks. They have consistently done it 2 rounds in a row now, where they did the perfect flank play necessary on bunks to win out the round, right? And they make it back into the 3v2. The player runs up green stairs at a perfect time while they go for the flood with the Ying shotgun. The player green stairs walks up, gets a kill, Hates gets another. Now it's a 1v3 for Stompin, basically unwinnable. And he dies the Fantasy, and off of bunks, they are sending it to overtime. We go to overtime, guys. Here's how overtime works for those who don't know. You get to 6, usually you win for the first to get to 7, but if you get to 6-6, that's overtime. Traditional overtime is the first team to hit 8 wins, and now you not only switch halves on every 6 rounds, you switch half every round. So it's 1 defense, 1 attack, 1 defense if you have an OT starting side defense. Now, OT starting side is different, where if you got to pick the side, like if you, traditionally speaking, you pick the map, the enemy picks the starting side, and then you pick the overtime starting side. For deciders, it is a coin flip. It is a second coin flip, so G2 likely, or either way, NIP or G2, whoever started on the stronger side that they thought on initially, right, which was G2 on defense, NIP gets that choice for overtime, or vice versa the other way around. G2 picked attack and overtime, so NIP gets defense now. Now let's lay it out. Okay, this is where I'm lose my fucking mind, okay? NIP on this defense have 3 choices for their site. Basement, where they won flawless, okay? They are 1-0 on basement. Bunks and briefing, where they are 2-0 off amazing plays. And top 4, where they are 1-2, and the 1 was off a horrible breach. And they have gotten fucked by a Mez take over and over and over again. That Mez take has worked against them 3 times. Where do you think the brilliant minds over at NIP pick?
Only one is going to be capable of moving forward.
And it's funny because we obviously know it's the all North American matchup.
These motherfuckers pick top floor. They pick top. They pick top. They pick top. The site that they're 0-3 against the Mez take on. They've lost to the Mez take every single round. And they clutched up 1 round off a bad breach. in overtime. Out of the 3 sites, we flawless them on one. We played amazing on the other. They go back to the site that they've been getting fucking thrashed on. So, I mean, guess what fucking happens? I mean, just guess what happens? Laura goes up to the bathroom window. Again, Laura holds this angle for 2 seconds. Fantasy crosses across the same door. Fantasy dies to the same fucking door. He's died to Laura like the last 700 times they played this site. What was that one quote? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different fucking results. And now here comes Pino. Pino's gonna fucking play on Rocket Stairs again. Pino's gonna go against Doki's fucking Capital on Rocket Stairs again. We're gonna put the same smoke on the same Rocket Stairs versus the same motherfucker. And now this guy's gonna burn his smokes. And now it looks like they're actually gonna adjust something. They're gonna shoot a Goyo and give it up instead. Wow, good job. You gave them Mez. Wow, it's really gonna fix our problems, guys. They give them Mez control. They have Goyos in the Mez doors. They have the zombies on the chest desk. And now Alamau comes around the backside with the Ying. Brilliant adjustment by G2, actually. Kills the backside player with the Ying shotgun. It works super well for them on the storage site. That's a single counter pressure and pulls apart NIP's defense. And once again, G2 just take Mez side for completely free. They just kill everyone on this side of the map. This entry works like fucking clockwork. Blast gets 2. Who on fucking NIP is IGLing this shit? Who decides that we go back to fucking top floor? This could not be any more scripted to me, right? Like, I love you. The craziest part is that G2 won this round to bring it to 5-5. When the first time they won against NIP's top floor, NIP call a timeout right here. This is where NIP's coach, he flips down his microphone, he calls a timeout. Let's make a brilliant fucking game plan, guys. Let's go back to top floor and lose in the same manner. So you're telling me we called the timeout to go back to the same site, to lose the same take, to go to overtime, to have 2 sites that we've won brilliantly and outstrategy 2 on, to lose to the same take again? To die to the same things, to die to the same guy on the same window. Fantasy dies to the same guy on the same fucking window. To give up the mezzanine hallway to G2 again. For G2 to fucking just take all of this again. It's like they're fucking purposely making these bad decisions so that they can lose the game. And now G2 is on match point overtime. NIP play against G2's top floor, which they also have pretty good success on. Right? So G2 once again for those top 4 spread. They have double Platinum now. They have the smoke and the Tachanka. They can deny the backside. They can deny the front side. They have mirrors. They have, Ella just in case they want to block out the shield. Fantasy opens up this wall again. He loves going for this operational control once again. They're going for kind of more of a pure mass take this time. Let's see. Yeah, so Cons once again, they go for this split pressure, split take that NIP love doing, where they go for the kill on this backside player. That's found success against G2 in the past. They're going to realize, okay, you know what, fuck all that. Let's go for a mask plant, actually. Let's go for a mask plant. We're going to get open this wall. We're going to have the outer wall open. And we're going to go here, plant on this little hard wall right here. The only thing that can stop us is the Tachanka and the fucking smoke. Okay? We have the players getting ready bathroom side and Mez side to get ready for this take. We have a player ready to get up Rocket Stairs at the same time. Fantasy is taking... We're getting guy over here. Fantasy and College are getting ready for a super aggressive entry, despite the fact that Laura is on the chest X. Pino's getting ready to go for this wall together, and here they walk through, and this is actually pretty beautiful by NIP. They're using the plant. They use this plant. Watch. NIP walks in. He taps the plant real quick to draw out a response to the G2, because now G2 have to fucking walk at them, and they use that response to get picks back. So they actually get the plant, start planting the bomb, they kill Laura who's close, they get pings on this guy in bathroom, and they actually manage to take up into rocket control with a brilliant flashbang. I think, yeah, eventually they do kill Stompin', and they now have a 3v3, right? And now the smokes and the Tachankas are going to be the ones trying to permanently stop this mask plant. Now they break down the shield that the Tachanka had, that they were using the Tachanka off the site. Prone entry off of the doorway by Hates. Fantasy needs to clear walk by the bomb, and he actually kills the other player. Bomb going down, but it does die to the Tachanka fire. And at this point in the round, you're probably thinking, okay, NIP clearly can't go for this plant. They need to go for the kill on the Tachanka or the smoke together in order to win out this round. Out of all the decisions that NIP could possibly make, what do we think happens here? I'll give you a couple seconds to think and answer. You done? Anyone made any predictions? Do they flood through, kill the backside? Do they flip the push? Do they just swing out aggressively, try to get a pick before planting? Do they try to find a different plant spot? Maybe they can, run to the left, maybe plant in the corner that the Tachanka fire doesn't reach.
12 seconds left. He picks it up in the flames, but Hates will fall too. Wizard needs to find this last kill or stick the kit. He will go for the latter inside of Mask. Alamel to creep forward and gets it done for G2. Of course it's Alamel. Of course it is. The EML champions progress forward to the semi-finals and knock out the Ninjas in Pajamas.
G2 get it done, and just like that, they'll progress. NIP,
They planted in the fucking fire. The craziest part, now I know this is a bit hindsight, which is a little bit unfair to the players when players hate hindsighting. But in hindsight, the craziest part is that if Hates literally waited or didn't go for this plant and swung out instead, or waited another second to go for this, because what he actually wanted to do was to stick the plant until he has 10 seconds left. There's no fucking reason to go for this, first of all. 10 seconds doesn't seem a lot to you guys, and you guys would panic during it, but to pros, it's like a lifetime. Pros love waiting until 10 seconds left. This is not a lot of time at all. You just fucking wait. If he just waited for the fire to dissipate, first of all, his original idea is that he would catch G2 off guard by planting through the later end of a fire so that the plant would go on right as the fire ran out and you would get away with 1 HP and G2 would mistime their plant denial. That's his idea. But he fucking mistimed it off a Tachanka fire duration. He didn't even try to count it. Because if he knew to count it, he would have waited 2 seconds before going for this. And the craziest part is if he waited 2 seconds to go for this, then Wizard would have killed him. Wizard would have killed this guy in time for the fire to run out, for the plant to go down. And then it's a 2v1 while one's planting and Wizard's holding the push across the room. Alamau needs to fucking cross the Atlantic Ocean to get to the planter now, who is not protected, who is completely protected, by the fucking cover. If he just waited and actually played it smart, what he was trying to do was plant through the latter half of the fire and survive till the end to get the bomb down, catch G2 off guard with the timing of the plant denial. And if he just fucking waited to do that, he would have actually gotten it off because Wizard would have killed this guy.
It will fall too. Wizard needs to find this last kill or stick the kit. He will go for the latter inside of Mask.
But no. But no, they shit their fucking pants. They pick the dog shit side that they lose 3 times on top floor when they had a flawless basement and a fucking perfect play on the Blancs briefings. And man, NIP, honest to God, so close to being a grand finals contention team. Because if G2 didn't make grand finals, probably would have been NIP if they played that fucking well. But no, I mean the amount of throws and chain decisions in a row from the timeouts going back to top 4, and then again after losing that timeout top 4. Going back to top 4 again on overtime and then planting in the fire when it's not even close to being over. That, my friends, has to be proof of a script. At that point, they gotta be fucking sandbagging for money. I literally cannot think of another explanation for what they could be playing like that for. Honest to God, why? How? Why? For what reason are they playing like that? I actually don't even know. Anyways, I'm ending my stream there. Love you guys. I don't know what to do for video tomorrow, but take it easy. Sleep well. Have a good day, and goodbye.